Hey, everybody. Welcome to the newest episode of Behind the Lou. I am Brendan, joined with Sean and Adam as always. And today is Saturday, the 11th, and it's the first day that
Are you going to need us?
WBC
Are you going to need us?
Just ask us
What?
if you need us to read anything, by
Okay.
the way.
Yeah, if you haven't noticed, I don't have my glasses today because they're fucked, completely broken. So I won't have glasses for like a week.
What's
so
your prescription on them Johnnies?
I don't
How
even
blind
know.
are you?
Negative 30.
I'm blind, but I don't know. I don't know the prescription. I
Yeah,
have the
I don't know
receipt
either.
out there, but I'm not gonna go get it now. No one needs to know how blind I am. But yeah. So the United States starts WBC today against Great Britain, which will be a bloodbath. The United States will absolutely kill the British. It's not even a joke. It's not even a
Times
question.
2.
Yeah, and then Japan has won 3 in a row, so they have moved on to the second round already. Japan is a powerhouse right now. So we kind of wanted to talk about a lot of different things, but before we get into what our main topic was, we were talking before this episode started about, is this time of year, March, April time, the best time for sports?
I think it is. Overall, I mean, you have October for baseball, right? That's like awesome.
And football, you have
And
football
football.
starting.
But here's my argument, right? March and April, mostly like I think it's both months, but a lot of people would just classify it for March because you got to think about it. Spring training is on full go. Baseball is around the corner. WBC is happening right now.
Well, yeah, every 4 years the WBC happens.
Right. March Madness is starting. It's like I think we're 3 games away or 3 days away from March Madness starting. Nobody
NHL
could deny
playoffs.
March Madness is one of the craziest things. Even
Yeah.
if you don't like basketball, just watching how some teams have like a Cinderella story is wild.
I love
NBA
how many teams there are involved in March
Right,
Madness. That's what
right.
makes it more interesting.
Ohio State's I hope gonna be in it. They have to win out. They have to
Mizzou's
win.
in, I've heard. I think.
Yeah, Mizzou's not bad.
I don't know anything about college basketball.
Yeah, I don't
so-
know a whole lot either, but I know Ohio State plays Purdue today. at
But I
some
love
point.
watching it. I love watching March
It's
Madness.
really. I watched the Texas TCU game. That was a pretty good game. But then you got NFL free agency starting, I think this upcoming week, and you already had one of the like a blockbuster fucking trade happen already yesterday. So yesterday
Trades
was
the first overall
NHL
pick.
playoffs are
Honestly,
just about
does
to
that.
get started. Like
Yeah,
they're like in the
NHL,
final
like,
stretch.
I mean, this is like the
NBA too is
transition.
kind of
Yeah,
going
they're-
towards. Stuff,
yeah,
but
they're gonna move. I
Here's-
think they have like 15, maybe more games left. I'm not sure.
Here is my argument, though. I understand all this because I was very heated when Adam brought this up before we got
MLS
started.
too. Don't forget about MLS.
Yeah,
just
there's
started.
MLS. I think it's more October and November because you then have the start of hockey, you have the start of football. I think basketball starts around then, and then you have MLB playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
If
mean,
you're
I love
talking
October.
like if you're
I love
talking
October,
about the
but
4
this is the best
major
time.
sports, yeah, if you're talking about the 4 major sports, I think October is. This time I think is boring because it is after the NHL trade deadline, so it's just seeing teams try and work out the newer acquisitions before getting ready for playoffs. And then it becomes just a whole media thing of just boring news of like, oh, I don't know if Tarasenko and Kane are going to do well in the Rangers these years. I just think the chemistry's all messed up. And it's like, it doesn't
That
make
chemistry
any
in the
sense.
Rangers is messed up. I think.
It's
I think
bad.
it's not going to go well.
I also my counter argument there is like for me, I just love I'm a huge football fan. I've always loved March Madness, and I think the NBA playoffs are a little slept on. But personally,
well,
I would
no, they're
agree.
not. Well, no,
I-
NBA. Hang on. NBA used to be one of the best playoffs.
oh
and,
yeah,
like for me. But the thing is at this time now, there's just so many teams that are involved that probably shouldn't be there. To where it just doesn't seem as impactful anymore as it
See,
used to be.
I feel like I like how many teams are involved now because people
But
like
this year's
the
different.
Lakers, for example, the Lakers are, I think they're the last team that got the play-in spot, and they're still winning for it, and they're playing without LeBron right now, so they're on track to get into a play-in spot, and that's what kind of like sparks those Cinderella stories about basketball that I love. It's like the team that nobody thought was going to make it can end up in the conference finals.
Yeah,
or even
and
just for
then
like March Madness or
with
whatever.
this year in NBA, there's just so many powerhouse teams. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
it's
retarded.
ridiculous. Like you have Phoenix, you even have like Denver still in it, and then you have like
Denver's dog shit. I don't care what anybody says about their record. Denver is
the-
dog shit.
don't
They
talk
just
shit on
lost to
Denver
the
to me.
they just lost to the Spurs last night.
Okay,
Spurs are
but then you
terrible.
still have the Lakers, obviously, who are
Mm.
like I don't like the Lakers just because I don't like they're just an old core to me. But
Yeah, but
I just and then like you have like just everybody else on these like just the way the NBA is being marketed right now with that last trade deadline was probably one of the most like like for all sports really. This was probably one of the best trade deadlines ever. I mean, think about
I
it. Like for
agree. And plus,
MLB, you had Juan Soto be traded, which was wild. That was a big
yeah,
deal. Then you had with the NBA, just all those moves that were happening. You had
yeah,
NHL with all
KD
these
gone,
moves.
Russ.
Yeah, there's
Not
just
only that,
a lot of like the trade deadlines this year were insane.
yeah, like this
Creatively.
deadline for
And
the
that's
NHL too was a record breaking. There had never been this many trades around the NHL deadline. And someone brought up a great point with it too, of the last 3 years and specifically COVID made every GM realize that anything could happen within a few months. So just buy into every year at this point, which is crazy to see all these GMs just doing their best to be like, we need everything because the world could collapse tomorrow. Like that fear is now in GMs to where they
literally.
feel the need to buy.
And
Yeah.
I want to know what like talk about like GMs just kind of like buying in their stock, like getting whoever they can and trying to make those power teams. I physically don't understand the New Orleans Saints at this point. They had the worst cap space. Listen,
What were they-
I'm a Raiders fan my whole life and I love Derek Carr. I hope he succeeds. But that contract the Saints didn't need to sign. I personally would have loved to see him on the Jets or the Colts, preferably the Jets.
Well,
But
Rodgers is going to the Jets now. It's pretty much
yeah, it's basically
dead
set in
set.
stone. But we'll see because
What
he's
so
got a high asking
since we're-
price.
one more thing before we get into what we're originally going to talk about. What was your reaction to that Bears and Panthers trade?
I was
Why?
That trade was ridiculous on the Panthers' perspective to me. The Bears completely fleeced them. It was
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't
Oh,
I mean
big
I don't
time.
understand
All right,
why.
so here's my if I first saw it pop up on my phone on ESPN because I was driving.
I
I
thought
was
it
like,
was
oh,
fake.
they actually did it because everybody thought they were because the Bears didn't essentially need the first exact pick because those first picks are for like either an edge rusher, like they were like Will Anderson was going to probably be the first pick if the Bears had it, but everyone was talking about they should trade down and try and get some more picks, some weapons, and everybody was trying to say that they were going to trade with Bengals to get T Higgins. Then Bengals GM already said, go get your own wide receiver. That's not happening. So everybody was like, okay, they're just going to keep it. I didn't think it was going to be the Panthers. And then I was like kind of shocked it was the Panthers. But
Like,
then I read what they gave away. I don't care what, like, that's a huge
Panthers
risk.
need a quarterback.
They do.
Needed one.
They really do. And that's a huge risk.
The problem is if they do not hit on this quarterback pick, they are so fucked. I mean, it's not even a question. They'll be fucked for years.
And
I mean, this is like it's franchise altering.
They've been a part of the QB carousel for so long after Cam Newton, and they had Darnold, Mayfield, they had PJ Walker starting for a while.
Yeah,
I mean, they
gotta hit it. If they don't hit, I don't know. I don't know what they do.
If they're smart, and I'm not a biased Ohio State fan because I've said this about
CJ Stroud for sure.
CJ Stroud
that'd be my
is the
pick.
best quarterback in this draft. I don't care what anybody says about Bryce Young, and I especially don't care what they say about Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson is not that good. He's gonna be a reach. He's like a late second round quarterback. If he goes to the second round and produces numbers, that's good because I think that's his skill set as a second round pick. Bryce Young will be the second one off the board. I really want to see CJ Stroud go because for whatever reason, everybody hates Ohio State quarterbacks, and I get it because, I mean, when Dwayne Haskins was drafted, I didn't really think much of him. He was a pocket presence, and he could just sling the ball downfield, but he had the core to help him. He had an insane wide receiver core at the time. Justin Fields and CJ Stroud, on the other hand, they're playmakers. You know what I mean? So they make shit happen. And I personally think, especially watching CJ Stroud against Georgia last year, that kind of locked in my prediction was that he's the best
Yeah,
quarterback in this draft.
that's who the Panthers need to pick. If they don't pick him,
Yeah,
then I don't know what they're doing.
And the Bears I think it's pick 7 or pick 9, one of the two.
They don't even lose.
7. They don't lose that trade, and they got DJ Moore. Like DJ Moore is a stud. I don't like he's been overshadowed because he has a shitty fucking quarterback every year. But now the Bears have Justin Fields, Chase Claypool, Darnell Mooney, and DJ Moore.
Are the Bears a dark horse playoff team? That's the last question. No,
I didn't think so either.
They're close. I think they're close to. I think they're close to becoming that dark horse. But as it stands right now, I don't think they are.
It depends how their draft goes. They obviously need to address a little bit of issues on their O-line and huge issues in their secondary. Huge, because right now their offense is pretty solid. I mean, Justin Fields carried your offense last year. It's just defense wins you games, and they just
their new stadium's going to. They'll have that new stadium ready when that team is going. So,
if Justin Fields just keeps his pace going, like how he was playing last year, then he's going to be their franchise guy. So, if you have him, you can make anything work.
Yeah, but moving on from football and other sports talk. If you've been watching, if you're like anywhere familiar with the Cardinals or just baseball in general, you have noticed with this WBC going on that Lars Nootbaar is becoming a legit superstar in Japan. I mean, it's actually kind of insane. I mean, I love Lars. I think to be honest, I didn't know what his impact was going to be on the team when he came in 21. I mean, he was like, obviously he kind of suffered with not being like a top prospect guy. And I think COVID kind of hurt with that just because that many people were able to see him play. But now you look at him and he's literally they're like Japan, like the fans there are bringing in pepper grinders now. They have
so wild, dude.
His jerseys are completely sold out. I wanted a Japan Nootbaar jersey because those things look so cool, but they are completely sold out on Japan's team store. And you just see him next to Shohei Ohtani constantly, and they're like look like they're best friends. And now it comes the question:
Here it fucking comes.
Will Shohei Ohtani be traded to the Cardinals in 2023?
No.
Okay. We have to at least talk about it before we say no.
No, we already said no. Next topic.
Think about it. You have look at the talent that we have right now, like our young talent. Like there's so much. Like you watch spring training right now, you have guys like Donovan going off. You have Walker just being first at everything on average, slugging, OPS, on base percentage, whatever, home runs, everything. He's like first at all of it. And then you have Mason Wynn, who was not really we know what his talent is, but no one really expected him to come into spring and light up the way he has. I mean, I didn't expect it. I thought he was more time away, but now it's starting to look like he might be ready within like halfway through this year or even early next year as an opening day role. And how are you going to fit him in here? And then you still have Edmund, and you still got Dylan Carlson. You have Alec Burleson. You have Moises Gomez. All these guys who are top like prospect talent or top young talent could like looked around the rest of the league. I don't think many other teams have that. I mean, I think the only other team you can really compare that talent to, maybe Braves in a way, just because Braves come out with prospects out of nowhere. And then like the Guardians have a lot of depth in their minor league systems too. So I feel like the Cardinals are in the perfect position to make this big acquisition because they were in on Juan Soto last year. And now it comes a time to where it's coming ahead, and the Angels have to trade him. You can't do you agree he gets traded this deadline?
Okay, listen. I get where you're coming from. That makes total sense. But if you say the Angels have to trade him, do you realize the other person on their team that has just as much talent that wasn't traded at all?
Well, Mike Trout has a contract extension.
I understand that, but before he signed that contract, he was still a fucking demigod.
He was signed before he even came close. He was signed before he even came close to free agency. And Mike Trout wanted to stay an Angel. He wanted to.
But what if Ohtani wants to stay in the
Shohei,
league?
no, he does not. Because if he did, if he
Solid
did,
no.
he would have signed an extension by now. And two, the Angels have done absolutely nothing with these guys. You have Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani on your team, and you still can't even finish above 500. It's terrible. You need to completely dismantle whatever scouting department you have, your pitching development, and your prospects other than Mike Trout, because Shohei was signed internationally. You have not produced anybody. You signed Anthony Rendon, which looked like a good deal. He can't stay on the field at all.
No, he's fucking terrible.
Well, no, Anthony Rendon, if he's healthy, he's one of the best third basemen in baseball.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if he can be healthy.
Over Arenado?
It's pretty damn close.
Are you serious?
He's really good. He is really good. I mean, I think Arenado's the best in baseball. Then I would put Manny. But Rendon at the time, dude, he was there. He was.
Oh yeah,
Rendon
was
that
on
list.
On that Nationals run, man.
He was on that Nationals 2019.
That was
team.
wild.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
he was
like the soul of
player.
that team.
He's a great player to have on your team, but it's just he's been hurt. He signed one of the biggest contract deals of like an infield position player at the time, which is why the shortstops like Lindor and Correa, Turner, all these like big shortstop free agents wanted to get that bag because of guys like Lindor and Rendon, what they made. And now Rendon's deal is not looking so well right now. But I don't know. I mean, the Angels you can't let go of this guy. Like, just let him walk in free agency because you know for a fact you're most likely not going to contend this year. Like, you made some moves to solidify your pitching staff. I get it. But how many times have we said that about this Angels team for the last, I don't know, 5 years that, oh, they just fix that pitching staff, then they will be fine. Well, that 1 year, I think it was 2020. I can't remember, but there was 1 year where they only picked pitchers in the draft. They only picked them. And none of them have advanced to anywhere so far. And they just don't have the development. So you have to dismantle and get something back. Like Shohei is a player that has not been seen since Babe Ruth. And if you think about that, Babe Ruth was not playing like he was not facing pitchers like there are now. And Ohtani is way better than Babe Ruth. Like it's not close.
That's another argument. I think Babe Ruth is like a staple of baseball, but
he wasn't
anybody.
He wasn't. He was facing people who weren't really like major.
It was
leaguers.
the milkman, bro. Like they had day jobs.
That's what Babe Ruth was. But like that, Shohei Ohtani is doing that now, which is what makes it even more insane. And we've never seen a player become available like this. This dude is worth a $500 million contract for $50 million a year. That is what this contract's most likely going to look like for him. Now, do I think the Cardinals will extend him if they did trade for him? No, I don't think they would, because I don't. I think DeWitt
that's where it's going to be
literally
interesting.
See, I don't think DeWitt would pay that at all. And the only other team that could see trading for him is like Dodgers. I think the Dodgers might be prepping for something like that, but I don't know. I think the Cardinals could get the trade done very easily. If I have Shohei Ohtani for a playoff run with Nolan, Goldschmidt, Walker, oh yeah,
you're not going to have Walker on that if you're getting Ohtani. Because here's my thought process. Here's my thinking.
You think that Walker would have to be a part of it?
I think so, because I think if you're wanting to restart whatever 12 to, I don't know how good they've been or how bad they've been
for the
past decade. Okay, if I'm wanting to build a better foundation, I'm going to want key contributors and like everything you can. I want it would be literally Cardinals' future for him. I really think that. So I'm thinking like you're giving up Walker, fucking giving up like you're just giving up the whole farm. I really do think
probably.
That. Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
And
you have all these players that you want to get rid of,
and you're not gonna. If you do it that way, then you have the intention to resign him.
You're not wanting to get rid of them. You're wanting to move them for
one playoff.
Okay, now, but here's the thing: if DeWitt would want to extend him, like let's say that happens, think about how much money that brings. Listen, this is something that no free agent can be compared to. It doesn't matter. Juan Soto, I don't care who the fuck it is. No one can compare to Shohei Ohtani's marketable level than anybody else in the league, because you have the entire country of Japan watching this guy. I mean, you watch those Japan WBC games, they're all wearing Angels jerseys. Why is that?
I will bring up another thing too, and just from like the days of door dashing and going around the like St. Louis area, there is a very high density of Asian culture in St. Louis, which was very surprising to find out about. So I will give you that. That is a fair point that a lot more people would show up.
You have
to
that,
push.
and then you have like just the entire country of Japan rooting for your team, watching your games. And then if you create the new broadcast system that they've talked about with Bally that we talked about a couple episodes ago, then if they create their own network that they can offer to people in Japan, they would make shitloads of money. I mean, it would almost neutral out. Like, DeWitt can technically afford this deal. He can. But the amount of money that he's going to be bringing in, or any owner is going to be bringing in, is substantial. And I don't know if you could say no to that. I mean, I think every team in Major League should be interested in getting this guy. I think this is a guy that you will never see available again. He is a once in a lifetime player. Like I know people say that with Juan Soto. This is a once in a ever opportunity for you to get Shohei Ohtani. There's no one else that can fit this role, and most likely no one else coming in to do what he has done so far. There's just nobody. So I mean, if it costs you this much, but you get this guy, you have to do it. At least I would. I mean, I don't know why
you're not the one paying for it, so yeah, of course you would.
But if I had that money, I would definitely do it. Because what the fuck do you own a team for if you're not willing to invest in the team?
Money.
It's like we talked about with the Pirates.
Yeah,
the Pirates.
Yeah.
Why do you own a team if you aren't investing in it?
Because no matter how shitty the Pirates are, there will be the weekend games will still always be packed.
No, they're not, Adam.
Yes, they're
are.
Dude, you don't
watch them,
in
Sean.
Pittsburgh.
I watched them.
You don't live there.
Sean,
they're still packed.
Adam's
I guarantee.
I watch.
I'm not. You're the one vouching for a Shohei Ohtani trade right now.
I am, but
all I made was a simple statement. The
Pirates games are not filled at all. They're filled. They were filled last year in September when Albert Pujols was pushing 700, and it was all Cardinal fans. They filled up PNC.
I was saying weekend games. Weekday games, we don't give a fuck.
It was a weekend game, and we were all there.
Brandon, you watched one series of games all year when our Bulls
so you're telling me on a Saturday night, it's Pirates Reds. You're telling me that place is just buzzing with atmosphere?
If it's Reds, yes.
Reds, what do you
Guardians,
mean? There's no one there.
Dude, yes,
I want you to go and film me a video.
I'm up there all the time.
You don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know what you're talking about. I watch these games. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Thinking you could get Shohei Ohtani for like a bag of chips and Brenda Donovan.
Go. I want you to go to a weekend game.
You spent all this money on this guy
and fucking film me a video of a section being filled. Because there's not one section being filled. There's not one section filled.
Gets on base a lot. And a bag of Frito-Lays that I had on the way here. Shut your dumb mouth.
There is no way that you possibly said that Pittsburgh is packed on a weekend. There's no way. It is.
What else?
No, it's not.
When there's no other sports, when there's no Penguins, then when there's no Steelers. There's no soccer. They have a soccer team.
You know what they're doing?
They're at a Pirates game. That's what they're doing. Those little.
No one's there, Adam. No one's there.
Pittsburgh,
no one's there.
Who live in Mount Washington?
Nobody. Nobody's there to watch a Pirates Reds game.
Yes,
nobody.
They are.
Nobody is.
I'm going to a Pirates Red game this
year.
Go
ahead, please. Film a video for me, and I'll show you that there is not a section filled. There's not even a row. I'll bet there's not even a row.
I went to. You know what game was packed? We went to a weekend game last year for the Padres, and there wasn't nearly as many Pirates fans there. It was all Pirates.
Well, the Padres are different, Adam. The Padres are an elite team with elite talent.
Don't just say that weekend games get packed. You're the one saying it's like, oh, Pirates Reds.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm defending my hometown.
Yeah, but
team.
I
don't
asked
care
you.
what
I
say.
asked you if it's a weekend game and it's Pirates Reds. You're telling me that place is packed. And you know what you said? We could go back. You said, "Oh, if it's Reds, definitely it's packed." Who the fuck wants to go watch the Pirates and the Reds play in 2023?
Listen, in my area, in my little town of Ohio, which we're 45 minutes away from Pittsburgh, there are so many people who are Reds fans here. So many.
There's not that many fans left. They're wearing paper bags over their head because they're pissed at their owner.
I guarantee you. You're
Guarantee me
delusional.
what?
You are delusional.
You're delusional.
So
you
mad.
think the Pirates have fans? You're
Sean,
like the only
back me
fan that I
up
know.
here, dude.
Dude,
Come
I
on.
thought I was unhinged before we came on the podcast because we have a group chat where we're just messing with each other and whatnot. This has gone off the rails. I've never seen you guys get so heated.
Well, I'm not gonna take him saying that the Pirates PNC Park is packed on a weekend.
And I just let you go on a
this.
rant that you think the Cardinals are going to trade for Ohtani.
Okay, do I think it's likely? No. No, I don't. But do I think they should? Yes.
Any team in this league thinks they should, Brendan. You just went on a 10-minute tangent about how they need to.
Yeah, but it's realistic for them to. It's realistic, but it's not likely.
I think the Blues should get Patrick Kane and pay him the absolute moon. I don't think it'll happen, but I think they should.
Raiders should go out and trade for fucking Patrick Mahomes.
That's what just happened.
It's not going to happen.
Listen, I think it's very possible that it could happen, and I think the Cardinals are in a position to do it. That's all I was saying. They have the talent to give up. They have the void of needing a left-handed power bat and a top of the rotation piece, and that fills two places with one player.
You know, you make a good point.
It's a perfect fit.
They do have the talent to give up, and if they did that, that is the talent of giving up.
That's what they need. That's literally what they need. And if they're going to trade for anybody, that's who they should get. But unless it's, I don't know any other top rotation piece that would be available right now. But Ohtani, you have to try to go for him. You have to. I don't think there's a choice. And if you even in free agency, if you don't land on the trade deadline, you have to go after him in free agency because this dude is literally a phenom of a player that no one has ever seen before. So
would the Cardinals be able to pull the trigger on how much his asking price is in free agency?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Exactly.
We just signed our biggest contract deal with Wilson Contreras, and that was $86 million.
Yeah, that was my next argument piece. Was that you guys?
Did I say it was likely? I'm just saying. What I was laying out was that they have the foundation to do it. It's the opportunity is there. They have the talent to give up. They have the need for Shohei, and there you go.
I want to see what the people think. I want to know what the people.
The people want Shohei Ohtani.
I want their honest opinions.
Please leave your comments and please please
tweet at us. Do anything.
Please put in the comments that Adam is fucking insane for saying that PNC Park is filled.
That wasn't even an outlandish statement. That
is a completely outlandish statement.
This argument is done. Move on to something else. This is done.
Okay. So,
my God.
So, okay. If you were to trade Shohei Ohtani, though, what would you give up?
I don't want to talk about it.
You don't want to talk about it at all. I would give up Dylan Carlson. Bye-bye, DC.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
That's not enough. That's just not.
No,
enough.
It's not. But I would give up.
They need pitching. They need an outfield. Real bad.
I would give him Graceffo. I give him.
I'm probably going to ask. I guarantee you, if you were to trade for Ohtani, their first person they're asking for is Jordan Walker.
Well, that's not going to happen.
Then that might honestly.
If you're not trading Jordan Walker at all.
Top three prospects or young players that are on the chopping block would be number one, Jordan Walker, probably Tyler O'Neill, Mason.
No, Wynn. Okay, hang on.
No, O'Neill. I meant Tommy Edman. Tommy Edman.
See, okay,
I think he would be.
Let's think about this for a second. Tommy
block.
Edman might actually. Okay, that was another thing I was thinking about. Maybe not for Shohei. So let's just talk about just players in general on who they should give up, right? Because they're going to have to give up some of these people because there's just not enough room for them. So we're done talking about Shohei, just talking about just talent for the trade deadline. Do you think it would be smart for them to move on from Tommy Edman because you have Wynn coming?
Yes.
But I don't know. I think Tommy Edman's like a 7-WAR player.
My thing is if you, I mean, it really you could bat both ways. You guys obviously the only hiccup you have is in your rotation right now. Like everything else is like perfect. Your rotation just needs to be there, and I could
I
see a
think
World
bullpen
Series
could
run
use some
and
improvement.
bullpen. But if you're trading, you're most likely trading for a rotational piece, not a
Well, yeah.
bullpen
So
player.
you're talking. You need a number one starter. That's
Right.
what we need.
And
So
if
you're
you my theory, you could trade both of them, right? And
trade who?
not
Edmund and
together, not together. I'm saying just if you pick one, you know what I mean? If you trade Edmund, you have it, you throw in whoever else with it, whatever they want, and get that another solid rotational piece that are like that could really help you in a postseason run.
I
And
just
have Mason Wynn come and he shows that he's ready, or you trade Mason Wynn and you keep the talent that Edmund has already shown. You
you'd
know what
have
I
to
mean?
extend Edmund too, which I think the thing with this is what's complicated is a lot of these like we don't have a lot of middle infield depth really, but the thing is like we have a very like all of the middle infield players that we have very high upside. Like you have Nolan Gorman who hits for like 30 to 40 home runs a year, most likely. That's what he projects to be. You have Brendan Donovan, who is an on-base king. And he's developing power, which is unbelievable. I don't know. He's hit more, he's almost hit more home runs this spring than he did all season last year, which is just insane to think about. And then you have Tommy Edman, obviously, and then you have Mason Wynn. So I don't know what their plan is for Gorman or what they see Donovan doing, but I'm just it's gonna be interesting to see how it all turns out because I think I would probably trade Tommy Edman if there was a number one starter available and Wynn's lighting up in AAA. I think I would move Tommy Edman because he still has some years of control. He's very valuable. But I don't know if they would want Tommy Edman because I think they want Wynn more because it's more control for Wynn than Tommy. So
Right.
but yeah, I don't really have much other else to talk about with Cardinals besides the Ohtani thing and just how Nootbaar is just becoming a superstar in Japan. But don't forget, Nootbaar could convince Ohtani to come to St. Louis too. Don't forget
And
that
I
either.
was reading this thing because that's something we could talk about was player people don't realize, but players have such a big say. I don't know about much about like baseball wise, but every other like basketball and football
Oh,
for
Oh,
dude,
sure.
baseball has a
They
sport.
have
and
a
it,
Or that's a
huge
play that. I
players
mean,
know players. It's
huge
simple as that.
say
Yeah.
in recruiting. I mean, look at what Sauce Gardner is doing for the Jets right now. He is trying his damnest hardest. Like he's putting all of his effort to get Aaron Rodgers to come to the Jets. Everything he's got, he even burned his cheese head. I mean, like that was a staple what he did last year. And I mean, Derek Carr had like got Devontae Adams on the team. I understand he's not on the team anymore, but
yeah.
and now I think who else? Odell Beckham is probably going to be a Cardinal. That would be my guess. And that's because Kyler Murray and him are really good friends. I mean, it's who you
Okay.
relate to in
I
the
want to
league.
talk about Kyler Murray real quick.
Why?
That dude is a fucking weirdo, dude.
Yeah.
Why is he
I don't.
so
I
he's
don't know.
so immature?
He's
Like,
he's
grow
odd.
up.
I
Grow up.
like. He's smart though.
He
He
has
like.
so much talent, but
I know he's good and he's
he's just
smart, but
so fucking lazy.
I
Just
think his
wants to play
longevity is
COD
not
all the
going to be
time.
there. I really don't think his longevity is going to be there.
I heard that on the radio the other day. I was leaving work and they were talking about Kyler Murray and how like I don't know who it was, but it was some former player came out again and was like Kyler Murray needs to grow up. And because
In a sense,
he's just terrible with that. It's just like he needs to be a leader. You like the Cardinals signed him to this massive deal and
because
he's
did
not
you
putting
remember
hold his end.
remember the film clause? I don't. Do you remember
Yeah,
seeing
he has
that?
to watch. He has to do his homework.
Well,
Like
there was 7 hours of film a week, but they got rid of it.
that's so stupid. They should have kept that in there. But
How
yeah,
much time do we have left, by the way, on the pod?
we have like
Where are we at?
I mean we're about like we started around 10:40. It's 11:25.
Okay, because I didn't know how much longer because Adam has to be taken off eventually
Yeah.
later
You know,
on.
finish
So
my tap, man.
Yeah, we didn't have much this episode really, just because there's not much really happening besides what we're seeing spread and the whole Ohtani thing.
Yeah.
But let us know in the comments what you think and if the Cardinals should go after him and if you think they will, because I think it's a big possibility that it could happen, but I don't know if DeWitt would pull the trigger on it. So we'll just have to wait
I
and
don't think he
see.
will.
But
Also, I was thinking about this earlier. I'm just going to ask you guys on the pod. I think we should do a question of the week on Twitter. Like we ask a question and we get
there we go.
everybody's answers and see like kind of like talk about it and
Why
see what
is
everybody
Brennan
thinks.
absolutely
Yeah, why is
psycho?
Brendan delusional?
Like an absolute
You're the
psycho.
fucking delusional one who thinks
I'm done.
PNC is filled
I'm
on every
not gonna
weekend.
get into it. Not get into it.
All right. Well, again, it was a shorter episode today, but we will just let us know in the comments, and we'll have a question since Adam just suggested that we'll have a question this week. So keep on the lookout for that. So anyway, make sure you're subscribed with a notification bell on so you don't miss any of our content that comes out. And hopefully we can have more going out this once the season starts and everything. So we'll just catch you guys next time.